Hey there, this is Douglas Ferguson. Really excited to be sharing with you the Design Sprint template that we've created. And we're really excited to share this because we are changing the way that people think about multi-day workshops inside of Mural. We believe that there's a fundamental problem in most approaches, and that is that everyone is conflating the output they're seeking with the individual moments, the creation, the activities. We don't need to walk into a giant template that lays out the entire week that looks like a deck, a recap deck, a replay of everything in order to accomplish the specific goals we're seeking to accomplish in the moments. So we're separating the moment of creativity, the moment of insight, with the actual outputs. And so we've got a 2-canvas system. So one canvas is going to have our supplies, the other canvas is going to have our work area. And so much like we would in a real in-person workshop, we're going to have an area where you come in and you sit down and you do your work. We're going to bring the supplies to you. Let's have a look. So we're starting here with what we call the participant room. And this is the template that's going to contain the instructions at the top, a group work area, and then followed by some individual work areas. And if I zoom out, you'll be able to see the entire template. So you see at the top, we have some instructions, as well as an orientation area that shows us what day we're on. And then we have this group work area where we can bring in our shared stickies and we can vote together. So this is much like the whiteboard or the wall in a real in-person meeting. And then we have some gold areas down here that are named for each participant. And so let's zoom back into our participant view at the top. And you'll see that we start off with an orientation because we want to teach people what the design sprint's all about. So we'll walk through day by day and kind of explain what the design sprint entails. And during that time, we'll also make sure everyone's up to speed on how to use Mural. So we'll ask them to actually create a sticky with their favorite food and then have everyone vote on their favorite food. So they get an opportunity to learn how to create stickies, how to upload images, and how to vote. These are the core competencies in using Mural if you're going to be a sprint participant. And so we want to make sure that everyone's up to speed on those things. And so that's where we start the participant view. But I'm going to fast forward us to day one. And so in order to do that, to prep for day one, we're first going to delete our instructions and our wayfinding at the top. And then we're going to move to our supply list, which we'll see here on this screen. This is the template that houses all of our supplies. So normally what we see as a common practice in industry right now is all of this would be in a giant template with areas for work all throughout it. And instead we moved all of these instructions into the supply room so that the facilitator can locate them quickly and easily. When I'm resetting between orientation and day one, I'll come in to select my my wayfinding section here, and I'm just going to unlock. So I'll just copy Monday through Friday with Monday highlighted, and then we'll move on to our first activity. So our first activity on Monday is the long-term goal. Now we'll move on to the long-term goal instructions. So we'll want to grab these and copy them and just make sure I've got everything selected and then copy. Then I'm going to move over to our participant room and we'll drop our instructions in. We'll place them neatly in place so they look nice. And then we're going to ask our participants to begin to think about the long-term goal. So the instructions are, introduce the concept and then have each participant create individual Post-its, one per sticky. So for individual goals. So if we move down to the active area here where participants are working, we can see that they've already started to add stickies. So they will work alone. in their work areas, adding their individual stickies. Now, once I set the timer and the timer ends, then we'll ask them to share their stickies with the group. And this is where we'll do the vote portion of our note and vote. So again, each person is adding their individual stickies here at the bottom. They're noting. This is the note portion of the note and vote. And once they're done, I'll ask them to pick the one that they would like to present to the group so that we can vote and select our goal from there. And so if we now look at the group work area, we can see that the teammates have been starting to move the stickies to the group work area. And in a real design sprint, you'd have 7+ stickies up here, and we'd start a mural voting session at that point to down select the actual long-term goal that we're going to move forward on our sprint. And so this video is just to show you how we are copying in the instructions, and that each participant is creating their own stickies in their own areas, sharing them up to the main board, much like you would share them to a wall, where we would then do voting and have group conversations. This will work for all the exercises in a design sprint, including the sprint questions, the note and map we have supplies for, our how might we interviews, lightning demos, even the 4-step sketch. For heat mapping and critique, we even have some voting dots, because we're doing geographical voting in a design sprint, and mural only allows you to vote on an entire object. We need to vote on, you know, a location on that object. And so we've got our heat mapping dots. We've got our super vote, which is the special new version of the super vote, where you can actually, the participants are going to be typing in their reason behind their straw poll vote. And then we'll have the super votes. We've got a storyboard that we can copy in. Now this will require a little bit more resetting of the canvas for the participants. But at that point, we don't really have a group work area anymore. And so we can drop those things into the main area and kind of move stuff around a bit. But that's something what we do when we're resetting the board between Wednesday afternoon and in the later portion of the day. Kanban is where we'll record our jobs and all the assignments of work that'll be done on Thursday. So as you can see, we've got all our supplies here in the supply room, and we're copying them in as needed. We also reset the board between activities. So it's important to remember that we want to retain all these things. So I'll quickly come in and copy these stickies, remove them, and then I love to paste them into the supply room next to the instructions, so that we have everything stored off for later, so that we can harvest them for a recap deck or a readout, etc. So we don't want to lose this information. We just don't want it to be distracting or in our way when we're moving on to another activity. And so we can easily pull from these when we're doing future activities if we need people to reference, and we can also use them when we're closing out. So thanks for taking a look at the Design Sprint 2 Canvas system that we've built. We're big fans of it, and it's really allowed us to create a lot of focus on the design sprints that we do, and keeps our participants on task and on track. Thanks a bunch for listening in. We're really excited about the Design Sprint template and this new way of working. I'd love to hear your feedback. And also, you should know that this is a template that's part of a series that we're releasing this summer. We have already released 5 templates, and we have more to come, including an entire set of liberating structures templates. So you don't want to miss this stuff. Check them out, and talk to you soon.